Hello guys, what's up? I'm engineer AK, and in today's video we are going to solve the second sample problem of the chapter 2 force system. So let's take start. So in question they ask that we combine two forces P and T. So here there are two forces, P which is 800 pounds and T which is 600 pounds. We have to combine it, which act on a fixed structure at B, and here we can see that this structure is fixed, and these both forces are acting on this fixed structure, right, into a single equivalent force. So we have to find the resultant. We have to combine these two forces, and the combined effect of these two forces, we have to find that. So let's move toward the solution. So first of all, what we have to do, that first we will find this alpha. And how can we find it? So we will consider this right angle triangle A B D, right, this one. So if I want to find this one triangle, so what I will do, that if I apply tan formula, so tan formula we already know it is perpendicular by base. So this is the base from here till here, right? We have to find this whole base, this one, and this is the perpendicular distance from here to here, this one, right? Okay, so now what I will do, that if I want to find this perpendicular distance, so if I now consider this one triangle, this one B this one, right, BCD, this middle one. So here it is making an angle of 60 degree. So we know that if I find the perpendicular distance of this triangle, so you can see that this big one ABD has also the same perpendicular distance. So, and we know that if this is this angle is with this axis, so this will be the cos component and this will be the sine component. So it will be something like this, 6 sine, right, 6 sine and 60, because it is making 60 degree, right? And this similarly, this will be the cos. So if I apply the this will be the sine 60, and this will distance will be the cos, right? Same like that one, but 6 cos of 6. So if this is the sine, and so this will be the cos, right? But 6 cos of 60. Now hope you understand this diagram. So here I have already mentioned the perpendicular distance, and the I have told you the perpendicular distance was 6 sine 60 degree, right? This one from here till here. And now if I talk about the base, so from here till here it's 3, and if I talk about from here till here, this one distance, so it was 6. This one distance was I'm talking about this triangle, right, BCD. So this was 6 sine of 60, so this will be 6 cos of 60. So here I have written as 6 cos of 60 and plus 3. So this is the total base of this triangle from here till here, right? So now if we just plug in the values in calculator, let me plug in the values. Okay, so and yes, if this tan come over here, so it will become tan inverse, right? So if I apply tan inverse and 6 sine of 60 divided by 3 plus 6 cos of 60. so we get 40.89, and if I round off it, so it will become 40.9 degree, right? So here I have already written 40.9 degree, right? So this is this angle alpha. Now moving further, now we have to find the resultant. So there are multiple methods to solve it. We will discuss here some of these. So the first one is that geometric method, right? We want to find the resultant by geometric method, although all these method will give same result, right? So first, now let me clear you this diagram, that how alpha come here and how this diagram I have made. So if I move toward the question diagram, so here you remember one thing, why here was alpha, because the line, if here is a straight line, so the angle that is making on one side of the line, so same will be on the other side. So here if it is alpha, so here it will always be alpha. You might have studied this in your high schools, and these two forces are acting here, right? And I have just draw their resultant vector like this. So this is the triangle that is made over there, right? So now let's move toward that triangle. So here you can see that I have drawn this resultant, right? That was the same scenario. And we also know that if I add by head to tail rule, so the resultant vector tail will coincide with the tail of the first one, and its head will coincide with the head of the last one, right? So I have made a closed triangle. Now what we will do, that we know that in previous lectures, in lecture 1, in chapter 1 I have uploaded a lecture. So there we discussed that if the triangle is not right angle mean if there is no angle of 90, so then we will use cosine and sine laws, right? So here I will use sine law, and you know, you are more familiar with this formula, that c square is equal to a square plus b square minus 2ab cos of alpha, right? Here you can write gamma, but here we want to find we will use this alpha. So if I want to find this r, so r square will be is equal to 800 square, right? Plus 600 square written over here, minus 2 into ab, right? So 6 multiplied, and cos of 49 degree, because if we see here in front of r there is alpha, and we already find alpha as you can see here 40.9 degree. So I have plug in 40.9 degree, and then here if you take the square root on both side, right? So here it will come with this square, right here. So we will just left with r, and here you will here it will be something like this, right? So now if I plug in these values in calculator, these one, so 800 square plus 600 square minus 2 multiply 800 multiply 600 multiply by cos 40.9, so it comes out to be 274,380, and if I take the square root of it, so it will comes out to be 523.8, or you can simply write it 524 pounds, right? So I will here write it 524 pounds. So this is the resultant. Now what we will do, that we will also find the angle, right? This angle that it is making, the resultant vector is making here, this theta. So for that, what we will do, that apply the sine law for finding this theta angle. So 600 divided by sine theta, 600, and in front of it is theta, so sine theta equals to r by sine alpha. So r, and in front of it is alpha, so it will become sine alpha. So if I rearrange this equation, so sine theta will be equal to sine alpha, right, multiply by 600 divided by r. So sine alpha we have already found, that was 40.9 multiplied by 600 divided by, we have find the resultant 524 pounds. So here I have just written here. So if we plug in these values in calculator, so what it give me, sine 40.9, right, multiply by 60 and divided by 524, and here it is sine, so if the sign move here, so it will become sine inverse. So sine inverse, and if I take this value, so it is giving me 48.5, or if I round off it, so it will give me 49 degree, right? So the angle is 49 degree, right? So that's the one way that how you can find the resultant and its angle. Now let's move toward the second method, that is algebraic method, right? So how you will do that in algebraic method? What you will do, that you have to just take the summation of f of x forces and f of y forces, mean the forces that are acting in, we know that this is the x-axis, right, and this is the y-axis, here it is mentioned. So we will sum up all the forces that is acting in x direction, and then in y direction we will find the resultant. So here if I take summation of forces along x-axis, so 800, here you can see that it is in x direction, positive x direction, right? In this side, at this side it is positive x direction. So 800 minus 60 cos, so here I have drawn this, if I like this component, it is this force is at certain angle, so we will make two components of it, right? One is this component and one is this component. So here you can see that it is this component. If I talk the component that is in x direction, so it is making an angle of alpha, and it is in negative x-axis, right? So that's why I have put here the negative sign, right? And we also know that this component is 600 pounds, right? This is 600 pounds. So it will this component becomes 600 cos of alpha, and alpha we have already find that was 40.9. so let's plug in the values. Alpha was 40.9, and if I plug in these values in calculator, so 800 minus 600 multiply by cos of 40.9, and here we go. So it is giving me the value of 346, right? 346 pound. So I can write here, we can mention here, it was giving us 346 pounds. 346, yes, it was 346. And similarly, if I talk about the component, the forces along the y direction, right? So in y direction you can see that there is here in there is no y component of this force, it is only acting in the x direction, but only so 0, right? And minus this component, you can see that this is in upward direction, it is positive y-axis, right? And here down it is negative y-axis, so minus. And if this is the cos component, so this will be the sine, 600 sine of sine of alpha, and the alpha was 40.9 degree. So let's plug in the values. So minus I will just write minus 600 sine of 40.9, and we are getting minus 392, right? And if I round off it, so it will become minus 393. So it was minus 393 pounds. minus 393 pounds, right? So now how we can find the resultant? We will take square of these both component and will then take a square root on it, so we will get the magnitude. Here I have written rx square plus ry square whole under the root, right? And it has value 1 over 2. So if I plug in this value here, so 346, and this was minus 393. And if I use the calculator, and let me plug in these value in calculator, so under the root 346 square plus minus 393 whole square. So here we are getting 523 pounds. So 523 pounds, right? And if I want to find the angle, so for that what we will do, that we will just take 10, right? And here it is y over x, right? And if I plug in a value, so y was here we have find minus 393, but I am taking here the mode, so it will be 393, and the rx is 346. So let's plug in these values in calculator, and if I this 10 move here, so it will become 10 inverse, right? So 10 inverse 393 divided by 346. So here you can see it again giving, if you round off it, so it will be 49 degree. So 49 degree. So now we can see that and if I want to write this in vector form, so I will write here, so rx was 346 I, and plus it was minus 393 j, right? So you can and yeah, here you can place a bracket pounds, and here you can also place a bracket. So in this way, so here you can see that we have here the angle is 49 degree and the resultant is 523, and if I move, so it is also giving me 523 or 524, right? Almost same, and angle is 49 degree. So in this way you can find the resultant. However, you can also find it through graphical method. That how you can do that. In graphical method, what you have to do, that you will simply consider this length, right? For example, if I take this as a 1 inch, and then you have to do scaling, right? If I take this as a 1 inch, and then I take this as let's suppose this will be some distance also, so then I will draw this on paper, right, according to that scale, and I will draw a resultant, and then with the help of scale I will just measure it, that what is the resultant of this, right? And similarly then we apply any law, and you can find the and then you can find the using sine or cosine law, and you will find this angle, right? So you can also find this by graphical method. So that's it for today, and see you in next video. Thanks for watching.